Hello and welcome, it's me LinkingX2 back again with game number 3 of our Telecom War. We're right in this champion select, so we can't really lose any more time. Let's go over the bans. KT banning the same 3 champions as in game number 2, which they surprisingly managed to win after the huge wash that was game number 1. Yeah, picking up some early wins, punishing some of T1's plays, and then snowballing with the Diana as the core piece. Yeah, really blank, putting up the performances that we weren't really expecting from him and weren't really seeing from him in this summer at least. And then T1 here with similar bans than before on the red side, just now adding the set instead of the Xin Zhao. Dorf really equalized the mid lane, and well, with Faker having some questionable ultimates that were a bit overeager, really being able to equalize and punish that mid lane matchup. Getting into the picks here, we see KT locking in the Varus for themselves. It is a Varus on the blue side, so it's not the strongest pick, but it's still a super potent. And yeah, Noah and Harp, they were looking decent in game number 2. Remember game number 1 where they're getting washed, where they were getting completely stomped by Carrier and Teddy. So getting them some priority and powerful champions surely will help. T1 on their side, picking the Xin Zhao and Karma, a very powerful combination already, to be able to dive and deal with the Varus. Karma also a mega flex pick for T1, getting being able to be played in every position besides the jungle, but they already have a jungler, so it's a quadruple flex pick. Ooh. Now locking in the Jhin, so they still are not confirming where the Karma is going. Jhin and Varus, that's a matchup that's at least somewhat decent in terms of range, but obviously the Varus has higher damage profile. But well, Jhin also has a bit more utility for his team. KT also locking in the Rumble and the Renekton for themselves, 2 champions that are being regarded as very, very powerful by many players around the globe, especially at this 11.12 patch. Rumble, in my opinion, as I stated before, the best jungler in the game at the moment, and pairing his range up with Varus range, that's a lot of damage from a long range. That's very powerful. Renekton also a bit more of a sinner, right? But the changes in the last couple patches really helped him a bit to come back more, and well, he's still a menace in the early and mid game, and especially some of these Korean players really know how to play them. And here looking at T1's comp, 1v1ing is Xin Zhao, that's certainly possible in most stages, right? It's only a jungle Xin Zhao, and yeah, getting onto a Jhin, and Jhin dealing with like tankier champions was not really his forte, so the Renekton coming in here a bit of a early game enabler maybe for the Rumble and Varus. We have to see. Obviously could go into the mid lane or the top lane. Let's take a look at the bans here. We see the Jace and the Thresh being banned. Thresh obviously banning out the most common and most favored bot lane matchup here with the Varus. And then the Jace just denying more of the poke and more of the long range abilities that really would mess up with T1. As look at T1, they have some engage options, they have some long range like pick and peel and whatever, but they don't really have hard engage that really goes in, that really disrupts what KT is building up there from long range. So yeah, getting rid of a bit more of that is certainly helpful. Also KT banning out the Gwen and the Azir. Azir obviously Faker's most played champion, and you know all that stuff, right? But the Gwen obviously a very powerful champion that would be able to deal with the Renekton, especially in the late game. Gwen a completely busted champion in any 1v1 scenario. I'm really more surprised that she isn't picked and banned that often here in the LCK around the globe, especially in Europe and NA. She's rising in parity, often being banned, and if picked, being at least super dominant in the 1v1 stages. T1 here picking the Leona with the Jhin, that is a very common combination in the bot lane here. 2 of them really locking the CC, and as I mentioned, T1 really needs the hard engage, really needs the CC, and Leona offers exactly that. And also with her ultimate, she has a bit more of a non-committal ultimate here that really could help out against longer range targets. KT looking in the Tom Kench for the Varus, nothing surprising, right? With the Thresh being banned, that is the most common option available, and then locking in the Lucian for themselves. So Renekton and Lucian, we still don't know who goes mid, who goes top. They can flex that however they want. And T1 finishes up their combo with a Wukong. That is complete surprise. So the way it is now, we have a Karma in the top lane versus Lucian, and a Wukong versus Renekton mid. Oh, okay, they're swapping. Wukong and there KT swaps again. Let's wait for the last couple of seconds. This is important. This is very, very important. And 21, 20. So no one is able to swap again. Lucian vs Karma is our mid lane matchup. Faker, obviously quite famous for his Karma. I mean, if you have seen Phoenix, the song, obviously being portrayed by the Karma because of the 2017 final ending. So yeah, he certainly knows the champion very well, and is able to help here his team here. His team though had a bit of a damage issue, right? Having the Wukong in top, who's more of a bruiser, right? He really needs to get going and quite snowballed a bit more to really buy these damage items. In the jungle they have Xin Zhao, who is in a similar situation. If he doesn't really get rolling, then he's just it's just a nice guy running in but then dying. Karma obviously can go for a more AP heavy build instead of supporting, but still the baseline of her kit is obviously more lenient to support. In the AD carry position, Jhin, who has high damage in short bursts, but more so is an enabler and setup champion for his team. Similar to the Ashe, right? Ashe would be the more DPS version, while Jhin would be the more burst setup version, right? Both set up with slows and CC, and have other nice things with them. So T1 here, they could run into a damage issue, but to be fair, KT doesn't really have a lot of tanks that they need to shred. So yeah, there is the Renekton, buys maybe a bit of resistances, blank with a W, and maybe Azonias later on. Tom Kench always there, but that's not a huge issue in the end, unless these champions really get accelerated, really get the base levels high and rolling. Other than that, there's nothing to fear. Looking at the lanes, Renekton versus Wukong, we have seen it go either way, so we can't really make a huge of an assessment here in which favor it will go forever. We have to see how these players play it out. Blank and jungle versus Cuzz here with Xin Zhao. Obviously Xin Zhao is quite potent as a duelist, but lacking the clear speed in comparison to the Rumble. Then in the bot lane, again, we have to take in consideration that Teddy and Carrier are just so good, and they don't really care what you're playing, they're going to win anyway. So that's the issue here. But obviously you can't really compare a Jhin with a Varus. Varus still a very powerful champion, so we can't expect T1 bot lane to really whitewash them as strong as we saw in game number 1. It probably will be a bit more closer like game number 2, where till the roams came in and Jinx started to get a bit of help and kills from for free. Yeah, but till then, I think T1 will have the driving force here, but won't be too oppressive and won't generate too much of a lead. So overall, both comps have their advantages and disadvantages as I laid them out. Now we just have to wait and see how this is going, and at the moment, well, this is obviously the last game, so I will be signing out at least for today. We're going to see each other on Sunday with the next draft review of T1. But please, as I mentioned in the previous part, if you're interested in any other teams, right? If you want, please review the game or the draft from my team, right? From Fnatic, from T1, Down1, from TSM, whoever, right? Just hit me up down in the comments, and yeah, I'll be sure to get to it. And also again mentioning also down below, linked is my Twitter and most of my Twitch. Really have been beginning to stream here. So yeah, if you're interested in any of that content and really want, or just want to hang out, yeah, please hang out, come, would be glad to have you. But this is it. Stop it. My rambling here for a bit. We see each other then on Sunday, or yeah, whenever you're watching this, right? So stay safe,